Okay, so um, actually, when you eat food that's prepared by someone and that food is a food that is made from their ancestors, like let's just say like soul food, that's also very spiritual. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's get into it. All right, so one of the ways that I found out how food actually connects you in with ancestral ties is because I had went to eat at an African restaurant one day. Now, I had never had food from Nigeria. Okay, I am 25% connected in through ancestral ties with Nigeria, through the bloodline. And I have, ties with Africa in other countries as well, okay? But most of my blood ties come straight out of Nigeria. And I went to have, some dinner one day at a Nigerian restaurant, okay? I went, ate the food that I had never eaten before, and came home, went on about my day like it was nothing, went to sleep, and then the next day I woke up with different sensations going on in my body, and I had this knowledge that I never had before. Okay, not a specific type of knowledge, just some things were coming to me just through the air. Okay, and I wasn't really aware of what was going on. I just didn't think nothing of it. Okay, I had received knowledge because I have an antenna, a natural antenna that's connected in with these gods from these other realms. Okay, but this particular time that I went to eat Nigerian food at this restaurant, I had received quite a big pack of information from this other realm, okay, just from eating the food, okay. And how I found out about that is because I have an infatuation, kind of, sort of, with Africa because I'm 55% African. And so there were times where I would sit and watch African women prepare certain dishes. And I would go out, buy the ingredients, come back home, and make these dishes. And I would notice after eating the food that throughout the week, I would get these different sensations in my body. And I was, receiving just all this type of knowledge out of nowhere. And that's natural. Okay, again, that's natural. I've been receiving this knowledge all my life, but it was an overwhelming amount of knowledge coming in at one time, downloading into my brain. Okay, so I would wake up after eating this food. I noticed I would get these different sensations into my body, and I would wake up sometimes throughout the week or throughout the month with this knowledge. Okay, but I thought it was just the ancestors downloading me with knowledge like they typically do, but the sensations I was getting was kind of a new thing. So I noticed that whenever I would go and prepare this food from my ancestral ties with Africa, these different sensations would come into my body. Like sometimes I'd get a tingling sensation. Sometimes it would be a tingling mixed with heat. And then other times I would get this feeling in my scalp. I noticed my hair started coming in a little thicker, just a little bit. Nails started getting, a little thicker. Blood sugar levels started, kind of normalizing a little bit. And I would get these different, sensations throughout my body. Now, each time I eat these foods that are connected in with my blood ties, according to my ancestral chart, I get these sensations in my body. And when I had sat down and asked the ancestors to tell me why this happens, they told me that food is also a way to connect in with your ancestral ties, because the food that I have not eaten for hundreds of years is going into my body, opening up channels and portals that are connecting me in with my Nigerian bloodline. And so that's why I was getting these tingling sensations. Blood sugars started kind of normalizing a little bit to where after eating these foods, I would feel really good sometimes. It was like a euphoric type of sensation, not a high feeling, but more of a really good feeling. And food actually goes into your body. If it's ancestral food that you haven't eaten in 400 to 500 years, you're suddenly bringing this food that's tied in with your ancestors into your body, and it's opening up channels. Okay? So the message that I want to get out, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen with you guys, because it did happen with me, but I'm kind of like a priestess to a certain extent, on a certain level. Okay? So it's happened with me, but I want to give you guys this knowledge so that you'll know it, so that you'll have it. Okay? After receiving your ancestral results from your ancestral test that you're taking, go out and have some food that's prepared by your people from the continent of Africa, and give it a blessing before you eat it to welcome the ancestors in. Just say a prayer to welcome them in and see what happens. And I'm not saying that it's going to work for you, but I'm saying try it and see, because it worked for me. It brought me knowledge. It started to normalize certain things. My hair got a little bit thicker. My nails kind of grew in stronger. And I've noticed each time I eat something from these ancestral countries, it's opening up channels in my body that's then connecting me in with my bloodline ancestral ties. And I'm able to receive knowledge and wisdom and health just from the food. Okay? So this is one of the reasons why. And I also noticed, because I'm part Mexican too, I'm about a quarter Mexican, or a little less, maybe 20%. So I noticed I have to eat Mexican food at least once or twice a week, or I'll start getting sick. And that's kind of common sense because I grew up with my grandfather in my household or in the household, and we ate a lot of Mexican food and soul food, okay? And now I'm finding out as I've gotten older and more wise that if I'm not feeding in to my genes foods that are ancestral foods, I start getting sick after a while. So now my next project is to try foods from Europe because I have a pretty large bloodline with Europe. And I'm going to try some of my ancestral tides foods and see what happens then. I want African Americans out there to try the same thing. Try to eat foods from the countries where your bloodline stems from, and just see what happens. It might work for you, and it may not, and it may. Let's just say if you were to eat just African foods for a month or even a week, see what happens. And I want you to try it and then leave comments down in the comment section. But just give it a shot, because if you think about it, it does make sense. If you're not eating foods that are tied in with your ancestral ties, your ancestral background, you are missing out on nourishments that your ancestors would eat. And so if you're eating just regular American food most of the time, you're not getting certain nourishments to your body that your ancestors ate. And so this could be the reason why we have high blood pressure, obesity, and things like that, because we're not giving our body the nourishment that our ancestors had. Okay? So there are African women that have gotten online, and they have videos up on YouTube showing you how to prepare African food. And so if you're tied in with their country, try to eat some of those foods and just see what happens to you on a health level. And leave the comments down in the comments section, because it worked for me. So see if it works for you. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Thanks so much for listening.